Welcome everyone to the highly anticipated event of the semester, Hamlet, Shakespeare's longest play, coming in at 3,249 lines long. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis for those of you who didn't manage to finish reading all the way through it. So let's get into it. Act 1. To give myself a little bit extra time, let me preface this by saying that at the beginning of the play, Claudius is already married to Gertrude, and Hamlet's father, the king, has already been murdered, and the guards who are on duty because Norway's starting some shit I've already seen the ghost at least once already. Now we finally get a chance to see Hamlet, but Hamlet's all sad because, well, his dad died. And it's not a total loss, though. He has a crush on Ophelia, but Ophelia has been told no relationship with Hamlet by Laertes and Polonius. Now this time, Laertes takes off for France to do, well, we don't know what he does, but we know he takes off for France. So Hamlet finally gets the chance to talk with the ghost of his father, and hearing the story, vows to take revenge. But then he thinks about it. Act 2. Now this act opens up on an odd speech between Polonius and Reynaldo, Polonius' servant. Essentially, Polonius is telling Reynaldo to go to France and lie about his son, saying all kinds of things to make his son look good, going to both extremes, but telling him to stay generally within the middle on what he's saying. Hamlet then starts to enact his plan of madness by being weird around Ophelia. Now this causes Polonius to think that Hamlet's madness and the root of it all is because of Ophelia's rejection of him. And because Polonius is a motor mouth, everyone else thinks the same thing too. The only person who doesn't think that it's because of Ophelia is Gertrude, the only one who actually believes that it's her quick marriage to Claudius that is the root of all of Hamlet's madness. But here comes Providence. The players have finally arrived.
It's a trap!
Thank you, Admiral Akbar. Act 3. Into it. Ophelia is set loose on Hamlet, but Hamlet manages to keep up the facade. King Claudius is getting suspicious of what's going on, but still has no clue. Hamlet starts to direct the players. Now here's a very important side note that we may not have time to discuss in class, but it's interesting to point out. The discussion that Hamlet has with the players is very similar to the discussion that Polonius has with Reynaldo in regards to acting out their characters, do it to extremes, but tend to stay more in the middle. Kind of the same feeling that Shakespeare would have about directing one of his own plays at the theater. King isn't happy about this and starts to freak out.
I can't take it anymore!
Yep, you see? I knew that would happen.
Meanwhile, Hamlet calls out Rosencrantz and Guildenstern for being the king's puppets. Polonius goes to hide in Gertrude's room to see what the heck is up with Hamlet, and at this quintessential moment, Claudius is actually kneeling down praying with his back turned as Hamlet comes in with a sword, ready to strike him down. Hamlet has his chance to take him down, but won't, saying that he would rather strike him dead when he is caught in his vices so that his heels may kick towards heaven. Little did Hamlet know that Claudius didn't actually mean it. There was no feeling behind his words, and so he actually had his opportunity. Now at this time, Hamlet confronts his mother rather Oedipus-like, kills Polonius, and then convinces his mom after another visitation of the ghost that, well, I'm going crazy for a reason, and she goes along with it. Act 4. In the beginning of Act 4, Hamlet has hidden Polonius' body, but won't tell anybody where. Hamlet is also sent to England, where King Claudius plans to have him killed. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are along on the voyage as escorts to make sure Hamlet gets to where he's supposed to be. Now at the same time, Laertes comes back to Denmark and in a fire and brimstone way charges into the main hall, demanding vengeance upon his father's murder. Unlike Hamlet, Laertes doesn't think about anything and charges in, proclaiming, "The drop of blood that's calm declares me a bastard." Now at the end of this act, we find out that Hamlet is still alive, but so does the king. Plot is hatched to give Laertes his revenge and kill Hamlet. And Ophelia commits suicide. Act 5. Here we go. Time for people to start dying. At the opening of Act 5, Hamlet and Horatio are walking through a graveyard, and amongst much metaphysical discussion about the meaning of life, along comes Ophelia's funeral procession, in which a squabbling argument ensues between Hamlet and Laertes over who loves Ophelia more, jumping in on the grave. Sick. To sum it up, swords, poison, and death. There's a whole lot of murder going down, and the only person left standing is the never-before-seen Fortinbras, who comes in at the very end to steal the show. From everyone. So there you have it. A very abridged version of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Now, if you haven't read it fully, I suggest that you do, because all that dialogue in the middle that I skipped over is what really seals the deal on this play. So go read a book.